MER Dr. Larry Burchett. I was sitting here at my desk doing my taxes, watching the USC Gonzaga NCAA game when referee Bert Smith collapsed. I want to walk you through what should be done for basic life support. We're talking CPR, chest compressions, putting on that AED machine as we watch what happened here. So we don't have, first of all, we don't have footage of him actually collapsing. So what we see is he is on the ground. We don't know how he got there. I'm going to presume he passed out. But the first thing that we're going to look at is he responsive? Are his eyes open? Does he respond when they tap him and talk to his name? And the answer is he doesn't. To look at the algorithm, that's the first thing. If somebody responds, then they've got blood going to their brain and they're breathing okay. So you're not even on this algorithm. This guy is clearly, as we watch, unresponsive. So the next step, I like this algorithm a little bit better for it, okay? Yeah, you make sure you're safe and you're not in the middle of the street getting run by a car. The next step, if I were there, I would have said, go get the AED right away. If somebody collapses, we're worried about sudden cardiac death and what kind of rhythm. So even before we're looking at breathing and pulse, as I'm walking to him, I want one of those. I want an AED. I'd be calling for it. They've absolutely got one on the court. I would look at somebody and say, find the AED now and bring it to me. And this is what we're looking for. Ventricular tachycardia, VTAC. Why? Because if somebody has this, they can collapse, pass out, and die. And if you have this machine, you just follow the instructions right on it. This AED, you put a sticker here, a sticker there, you turn it on, and it will tell you what to do. It'll say he needs a shock, back off, and push the button. It's that simple. You don't need to worry about it. They look like this, yellow, red, AED all over the place with these instructions on them. That is life-saving. That is the main point of this, okay? So we go back to the video, and let's see what they did. Let me get these things out of the way. Where is the video? So we go back to the video, and let's look what they're doing. So I don't see an AED. They're getting down here, and we go back to the algorithm at the same time. They're going to assess him for breathing and a pulse. Again, I want that AED. I know it's down here. Does he have a shockable rhythm? I get it on the way. So let's take a look at what they do. We got somebody with a pulse right there, talking to him. Hey, are you awake? They're talking to him. They should be taking a pulse. Now remember, we're assessing two things, right? We're assessing, is he breathing? And does he have a pulse? So we don't need you anymore, buddy. That's good. They're taking a radial pulse. I would take if I were there, I would put my hand on his chest and try to feel his heart. Look at his skin. How's his color? Is he pale? He's probably a little sweaty. Is he responsive? We already did that. I would do a radial pulse here. Take your pulse right now. Let's do that, right? 2 fingers by the thumb, or this is the radius. That's why we call it the radial pulse. Right in there. Can you get your pulse? Try it on the other arm. This one, the carotid pulse, right, just inside your sternocleidomastoid, easier to take, right? Push in, go in and over until you feel it. It's a lot easier to get than this. I want you to practice on both of those and develop those skills a little bit because they potentially could save somebody's life. Radial pulse isn't bad. You can take a radial pulse up here as well. I would go carotid pulse because it's the most reliable, especially during these episodes. And then the other thing is he breathing? So I want you to focus right here. Watch his belly and chest. Is it rising up and down? Yep. He's breathing on his own. Did you see that? There it is. He was breathing on his own again. I want you to watch again. Breathing. So good. He's breathing. I bet he's got a pulse. Okay? So we go back to this algorithm, and this is what we do in real time in the ER. Assess for breathing and pulse. I'm going to assume he had a pulse because of the way that they evaluated him. Does he have a pulse and breathing? Yes, he's got both. We're over here. Then just keep an eye on him. If he didn't have a pulse, bam, we would be going to CPR. Start chest compressions, right? You remember what CPR looks like. Let's just get that up here for you real quick. Not algorithm. I want CPR. Show me some images of CPR. Yeah, chest compressions. Right in the middle. Get it down an inch or two. And the reason is to keep it, if Bert went down and his heart was not perfusing, right? So we get back to these. If he's down and his heart is not getting blood, then CPR, as you're pushing on his chest and compressing his heart, you're getting blood to circulate through his body while you're waiting to restore normal heart function, either with a shock or medication or evaluation or whatever, right? So that's that CPR is the most important thing until that AED gets there, back to this algorithm. So if he really had no pulse, you would start CPR, you'd get an AED there, and you'd call an ambulance. You'd get the medics there so that they can bring them to us, where we have all the diagnostics and therapeutics in the ER. Sometimes they can give medication and get things going as well. But in this case, let's watch this guy again. So, we go back to this. He's down. Somebody's like, hey, he's down. Are you responsive? He's not responsive. Check a pulse. Is he breathing? Yeah. We can see he's breathing, so we're out of that algorithm. Now, this is, some people may have, all right, Kevin Harlan, I'm muting you. Some people may have different opinions. So you're going to see him, put him on a stretcher and take him across. There we go. I would have put the AED on him. If he went down, we don't know if that was VFib or VTAC. I would have put the AED on him and transported him in that on the way out. Maybe he bounced out of it and he could go into it again. So I would not be okay just putting him on this and going without it. Which means in the middle of all that, his shirt comes off. We're going to slap on. Again, get back to this AED. Shirt comes off, and we're going to put both of those on. And we're going to look at his rhythm. And if his rhythm looks okay, then I would transport him, to their local ER or to at least to the health tent, whatever they've got there, just because that is the most, that is the most deadly and potentially treatable with a shock cause we got. All right, so let's review all of it. You get to the scene. Are they responsive? If they're responsive, we're not even going down any farther. They're done. You look for breathing and a pulse, again, like we did on here. Is he breathing? Does he have a pulse? In this case, he had both. Radial, I like the carotid and the heart. And then assess for breathing, watching the stomach and chest go up and down, which you can see right there. We've got that. We're done. If not, hit your CPR, get the AED rolling from the beginning. That could be life-saving. And get him to us where we can take care of him. Hope you enjoyed this video and learned something. It's not a bad idea to take basic life support so that you're more familiar with how to do CPR and respond in these conditions. I'm told that Bert Smith is okay. He's being monitored. He's fine. Thankfully, he appears to have just passed out. I would certainly keep him on a cardiac monitor for a while. Check his heart and blood and a whole bunch of things, his electrolytes, his potassium, and so forth. If he were in the ER, he may need a period of monitoring as well, just to make sure that doesn't happen again. Most common cause of passing out like that is probably dehydration. Maybe he didn't have enough to drink. That is a very common cause. But there can be heart arrhythmias that can be fatal as well. In the real world, most of the time you're going to come on people that you see unresponsive are probably going to be passed out from alcohol. Similar principles. If they don't respond, check a pulse. Are they breathing? If they are breathing and they're still unresponsive, I would probably put them in an ambulance and send them to us to be evaluated. You never know when somebody could have a bleed or something serious like that. But in those cases, you don't need to put the AED on and think about shocking them and all of that if somebody's just drunk and passed out from alcohol intoxication. Hope this was helpful and you learned something. And I hope that Bert Smith recovers fine and is okay.